coming in. But I'm John Frank, I'm the Red President, and this is a combined meeting here at Free Crowd. We want to thank our hosts who are all around the room, and of course our star, Chef Tom, who is the second chef here. Some of you saw him at the hospital, and we met him a few months ago. We enjoyed his salmon so much that we know when we come to his home, this is where he cooks every day and night for the residents. So if you're looking for a place to move and you want to have a great chef, I don't know about Chef Tom.
That's part of it. I mean, if you're going to live there, you may as well be eating well as well. So, yeah, you've got to find both.
So I'm going to turn the meeting over to him. For the residents here who are viewing Mended Hearts for the first time, we have a support group for heart patients. Everyone in the chapter is a heart patient, and Chef Tom is. We all have our story of what we've been through, and the purpose of Mended Hearts is to provide support by heart patients to heart patients. It's a peer-to-peer group. We meet once a month, usually the second Tuesday of the month. Normally, at Evanston Hospital, but we do take field trips. Actually, before COVID, we took a lot of field trips. We're coming in back to that.
Nice.
And we are here to tell you that there's hope after heart surgery or heart procedures, whatever you've had. If you're a heart patient, there's probably someone in the chapter who's through that too. We're here to provide support, just be able to talk to somebody through it, to know you're not alone. I found that first night in the hospital after my first scan, like the loneliest night of my life. So we've all been through that, and understand that. I have a table full of brochures. Mended Hearts has pamphlets on every possible thing that can affect heart patients. We even have some on narcolepsy and heart patients. We have one on depression and heart disease. We have some on flu, heart failure, help yourselves. I have some Spanish language brochures too. I'm probably fixing Spanish language, but if you know anyone, feel free to take those for them. I think that's all I need to tell you. So I'm going to turn it over to Chef Tom. I'm going to be videoing him, so I'm going to be standing on mute. And when he's done, we'll take questions from the audience too.
Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, welcome to Three Crowns Park, everyone. My name is Chef Tom Wet. I'm a certified executive chef. I came to Three Crowns about a little over a year ago, and like everything else in my life, I'm here for a reason. And a little bit about myself. About 10 years ago, I was working for the restaurants. I was executive chef for the Nashville Predators hockey team. I was about 340, 350 pounds. My cholesterol was 385. I had chest pains daily. I had already had maybe 3 or 4 stints put in. I've got 8 stints to date. But you know, when you're kind of self-involved and going through life, and you kind of have a false sense of security. And I kept telling myself I'm at Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville, and one of the best cardiac teams in the world, and just had that. But still, looking for elevators, shortness of breath, chest pains, anxiety, all those things that go along with that. Fast forward, I figured it's time for me to slow down a bit. I came home, and what did I do? I got another job as an executive chef back in the kitchen, but it didn't change. It was different atmosphere, but same lifestyle. And back in 2016, I met Drs. Hyde Russell and Dr. Robert Morgan, who are currently at North Shore here in Evanston, oddly enough. And they're like, you have cardiac myopathy. We did a whole workup genetically and found out that it's hereditary. And my daughter is 17, and she goes regularly to a cardiologist and has her cholesterol checked and has her heart checked and does all that. But they say there's a procedure that we want to do. They actually go in straight down the wall of your heart. And I also have a ventricle bundle blockage. Bundle branch blockage, they call it. One of my aortas was not opening properly, so we want to go and we want to fix that as well. So I said, yeah, I said, unfortunately, I have a board of trustees meeting next month. And I said, but the second that's over, I will check myself in, I'll get this taken care of. The night of that board of trustees meeting, I was having champagnes, I didn't do real well. We got to the dessert portion of the evening, and my sous chef said, you know, look, chef, you should go home. And I took her advice. And as I was driving home, champagnes increasingly worse, and I knew something was wrong. And the last thing I remember was pulling into the Evanston ambulance bay, emergency, and that's the last thing I remember. And they did the surgery. They put me on a machine. If you Google my name, Thomas Wickelblack, there's a little article, and then they put me on a machine which is only a few in the country, and they happen to have one, which gives your heart and your lungs a chance to rest and recuperate, because they did awful life support. My heart and my lungs weren't supporting life. So my family grew up in Connecticut. My sister was here. She pretty much took care of me the entire time. And, you know, it worked. Here I am today. But my journey, you know, once I got out of the hospital, right, what's the first thing I think? Like, you know, my life is over. You know what I mean? I couldn't put a gallon of milk, my muscular atrophy, and in the hospital for months, you know. I met my nurse or PT therapist at the time, Debbie Jefferson. I don't know if you all know her or not, but she's also at North Shore. And she said, you follow what I tell you to do your physical therapy, do your homework when you go home, you change your lifestyle, you have a whole new life ahead. And I don't know what, those words, just something came over me and said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And that was 2016. Today, I'm on the treadmill 3 times a week. I eat right, I take care of myself. I've got a 17-year-old daughter, keeps me in check. You know, when she sees me looking in the ice cream aisle or looking at a bag of salty chips, she lets me know right away that we still have a graduation to go to, we still have a wedding to go to, we still have things to go in to see, which include her. So that's my inspiration. So one of the things I did pick up, I found this actually here at 3 Grounds when I got here. The book Superfoods Healthy Lifestyle, and I read a bunch of these books. You know, I started taking. I have a degree in culinary, but I also have associate's degree in nutrition. So I kind of knew, you know, what I needed to do and what I needed to change. But you know, when you're a chef, you know, your ego kind of takes over. Again, you have that false sense of security, and you know, your lifestyle is a little bit different. But I realized that, you know, I can still eat well, I can still enjoy food, and I don't really have to sacrifice anything. So even though I have cardiomyopathy and I have arteriosclerosis, that's like the icing on top of the cake, you know, there's still things I can enjoy, and I feel fortunate for that. And part of that is following a healthy lifestyle. So, what I'm about to make for you today, also I have some watermelon water up here. If anybody needs something to drink, please help yourself. But what I decided to talk about today is, you know, the theme today is picnics, right? So, when you go to a picnic or you have a picnic, you know, people say, what can I bring? What can I make? You know, is there anything you need? And usually it's a salad, an appetizer, an entree, or some type of dessert. Well, watermelon kind of covers all that, right? So when you're thinking about, I need to eat there as well, you know, what healthy things can I bring, you know, to the table, and I can still enjoy my time at this picnic or whatever the case may be. So watermelon, you know, how many people think watermelon is just water? You know, 90% water, you know, when you have it, it hydrates me, it makes me eat, you know, tastes good, it's got a nice sweet flavor to it. But what we really, a lot of the things that we don't understand is for heart disease, especially, and this is one of the things that I found out through, I needed a source of fiber. I didn't know it was so high in fiber. I love watermelon. And as I researched a little further, you know, I realized that, you know, it's got some great amino acids and antioxidants, lycopene. So lycopene, it lowers the cholesterol, in turn lowers your blood pressure. So with arteriosclerosis, it also helps the good cholesterol. So with arteriosclerosis, I think my good cholesterol level is as low as 7. I think now it's somewhere in the range of 12 to 20. I think it was 23 last time I had to check. But you want it up around 30, because that's what you're looking for. So again, I have watermelon almost every day. It also has the citrulline. Citrulline is another amino acid. And with that citrulline, what it does is it opens up the blood vessels. It helps blood flow. It lowers your risk of heart attack. It lowers your risk of stroke. And it's just one of those things that you wouldn't even think about, as you enjoy it during the summer, but it really helps with heart disease. So, what are some of the other benefits to it? Inflammation, antioxidants. I also have psoriatic arthritis. My thumbs are arthritic. My back, my shoulders. I still have those aches and pains. But again, when I think about making foods or making something for my family or for myself, I look at what are the health benefits for me as well. So those are some of the things that I think about. So what I've come up with today, and I do have a recipe here. We're going to taste a little bit today. Is a simple watermelon salad. It's got 4 or 5 ingredients. You can change it up any way you like. I'll talk a little bit about the changes, and I do have the recipe here if you'd like to take it with you. But it's simply, I just dice up the watermelon. I don't know if anybody composts, but I do at home. I throw these watermelon rinds, great like compost, great for the garden. So I simply dice this up. I put everything in a clear bowl so you can kind of watch as I do this. So we got our watermelon, we've got a little bit of nice, crispy, crunchy, who doesn't like cucumber? I like to take the seeds out. I like to buy only English cucumbers. I think the English cucumber has got more flavor than the domestic cucumbers that we see. It also doesn't have that hard, waxy skin on it. It's got a nice, delicate skin. It keeps a nice crunch. And, if I was using a domestic cucumber, I'd probably peel it and seed it. But then you're kind of really left with something with not a lot of flavor. So you've got my cucumber in there, then I take a little red onion. Half my onions, I do 3 cross lengths. And then just a little fine dice. Let's go right in there. A little bit of mint. Everybody says, tear up your mint, don't chop it. And I use sometimes mint. I also use a little bit of basil in this. I think basil is wonderful. It's got that nice little spice to it, but mint really works well with this. So I'm shifting out a little bit of the mint. That goes right in there. And then it's really up to you. The recipe that I have has feta cheese in it. I love the feta cheese. It does tend to be a little bit on the salty side, but a nice alternative to that is goat cheese. I don't know if anybody's familiar with goat cheese. Heck of a lot less sodium. I think it's 80 milligrams. Yeah, 80 milligrams for about 4%. So very low sodium, but it still has that little tang to it, that nice cheesy flavor to it, that richness to it. A little bit of lemon or lime juice. I like to use a little lemon juice. I think the lime kind of overpowers the sweetness of the watermelon. I don't really want to hide that sweetness. I want to keep that watermelon in the front. Just want to add some flavor to it. Don't add any salt. Don't need it. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Also a little avocado. So avocado as well. Now, I was speaking earlier, it's great when we get together for these things. Like John said, everybody has a story. And it definitely brings me back. It brings me back, like John mentioned, that night in the hospital, one of the loneliest nights. I had those as well. I always try to focus on, the positive things and the things, the accomplishments. Because when you reach certain goals, for me it was weight, and being on that treadmill an extra 5 or 10 minutes, or not being short of breath, and not feeling my heart feeling 10 pounds. You know, those are great memories that I like to reflect on. But I like to add a little avocado to it. This also has great benefits for the heart as well. Great antioxidant, one of the superfoods that's mentioned in this book. And again, this book isn't something that I went out and looked for. It's just something I had to find here on property that anytime I see superfoods or something healthy, I like to pick it up. I'm always learning new things about food. So I add a little avocado to that, and that's pretty much the recipe. Mix it up. I've got some beer, and I made a little bit more. I like to let it sit in the refrigerator for probably about an hour or two before service. This way the flavors kind of meld together, the mint will come out, you know, the tartness of the lemon or lime will come out, the cheese will mix together well, but it's just great, it's just a great summertime salad. Some of the dishes that I do to it, you know, that I would change to it, so I may add a little base to it. Also a little balsamic vinegar. Who doesn't like balsamic vinegar? It's got that nice little sweetness to it, and you put a little drizzle of that on some watermelon. I mean, it's just absolutely. So again, summertime salad, heart healthy. You can go, you can enjoy. As everyone's picking those nitrous filled or the hot dogs that have all the salt, all the additives in it. If somebody's having a hot dog, you can have yourself a nice watermelon salad. Still enjoy the day and still enjoy your time. Nitrates, that's the word. Gotta stay away from nitrates. Although
what are
nitrates is it's like a curing salt. So anytime you have any they use a lot in curing like salamis, which is one of my favorites, and I do miss salami quite a bit. I have it once in a while. But it's like anything that has a pink salt or something that needs to be cured instead of cooked, usually has a lot of nitrates in it. So try to stay away from the nitrates as much as possible. I broke down and I've gotta have a hot dog one day. Took a couple bites, I can feel my blood pressure go up. The second I hit it, I set it down. Hot dog, I always said, if I love strawberries, and God said, you know what, in order to stay on earth, you can stop eating strawberries. That's why I stopped eating strawberries. But fortunately for me, that's not the case. So if I have to sacrifice a hot dog, then so be it. And like I said, it's not missing foods, it's appreciating the foods. You know what I'm saying? It's also being smart about moderation, and with being a heart patient, they talk about, depression and heart, issues, can't have this, I can't have that. I remember, being younger and saying, as a chef, well, if they tell me that I can't do this or can't do that, what's the sense? And I had to change my thinking. And changing my thinking, changing your lifestyle. And again, really the point of this whole Mended Hearts, and the reason I'm involved in it is, and I feel strongly is, it's about that lifestyle. It's not negative, it's a positive. I still have chefs that are in the business that are like, I can't go a week without brisket. I've got to have barbecue. I've got to have this. But they have health issues. They have, weight issues. They have, some are no longer with us. So again, with making a lifestyle change, it doesn't have to be negative. It can be positive.
this is very good.
Thank you. Yes, and you have more. Absolutely. I made a little extra because I like to have it marinate a little bit. When I first make it, it tends to, you're like, wow, I taste the cucumber, I taste the avocado, but I don't taste them all together. I got some pork right here as well.
I'm going to jump up here and ask any other questions. I'll bring the microphone. It's kind of about salami, really. Well, I'm Italian American. When I was a kid, I would take salami sandwiches to school. I haven't had salami for 12 years. So.
And here I am, Italian and German. So I'm missing kielbasa, I'm missing salamis, I'm missing bologna, I'm missing mortadella. But guess what? you know, I look at the things I can have. So when I think about the things I can have, I feel very fortunate.
Other questions for anybody? Yeah, no.
Oh, I don't have.
Oh,
I'm so glad to do this because I love watermelon.
I'll tell you,
It has a lot of sugar in it.
Doris, I'll be honest with you, as far as fruits go, probably one of the lowest in sugar. You know, if we're looking at like strawberries or any of the thin-skinned fruits, very high in sugar. Orange is very high in sugar. Water is watermelon is just that, mostly water.
I'm on my third watermelon already.
God bless you. I always keep one at the house.
anyone else? Just to add to that one, my mother was still alive, she was diabetic, I had to put her diet together, the doctor told me grapes were too high in sugar.
Yeah, grapes very high in sugar. Wine with sulfites, again in moderation, but wine can tend to be not great for us if we have heart issues. The sulfites and the sugar in that as well. You know, I used to be a big fan of the Riesling and the ice wines. You know, unfortunately no longer. So.
That's what the nutritionists told me, the white wine for higher in sugar.
They are, yeah.
It's a red wine.
And the Rieslings, they leave the sugar, they leave the grapes on the wine to condense the sugar. So it gives the higher sugar content. And in some wines, they add sugar through the fermentation process. The yeast feeds on the sugar, which creates CO2, which creates the alcohol.
What about apples?
Apples, I'm a big fan of apples, very high in sugar though. Yeah, I mean, apple for me, very high in vitamin C, great source of fiber, but it can be a little, for those that do have issues with diabetes, I would probably tend to stay away from apples, but watermelon by all means. And really any of them, high in fiber, watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, very high in fiber, very good for digestion, and all still have the citrulline and the lycopene, and you get all the benefits from that as well. So.
We have some brochures on heart disease and diabetes too.
We do, I did see that as well.
Other questions?
I think I have a couple.
I had some eating problems myself. I once weighed 195 pounds, but I don't anymore, so I'm very happy. I went to Weight Watchers.
Which is a great organization, I recommend it.
Yeah, but when I was saying after getting into this program that they had, I said to myself, okay, these are the things I can't eat. I made a whole list. And then I made another list that said, these are all the things I can eat. And I put it up on the calendar because I wanted to see it every day that I could eat more things that are good for me than I can.
And you know,
things that I shouldn't eat. So I think that worked out pretty well. And I think that's a good way for people to realize.
absolutely. And you know, our mind is a great tool. And what happens is once we start to eat better, and once we start to feel better. Then once we start to feel better, we want more of that, right? So we start to eat a little bit better. Then we start to eat a little bit better. Then we start to exercise. And it's all up here. You know what I'm saying? And there's days that I get up and I'm like, maybe I'll hit the treadmill when I get home tonight, or because I have one at home and I also want to like this. Or maybe I'll just do it while I'm doing laundry, or maybe I'll do it. I didn't do it today, maybe I try to turn that off every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If I can get in a Saturday or a Sunday or a Thursday, then that's just extra, that's icing on the cake for me. So, but I make sure that I go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I do it first thing in the morning because if I don't, I won't. You know, so again, it sounds like a little bit of discipline and work, but I keep a picture of my daughter in my office. I keep a picture of my daughter on my treadmill. I have my door is laden with pictures and report cards and achievements and first thing I do when I walk out of my bedroom in the shower is I see that door. And it gets me in the shower, gets me going, gets me ready to go for the day. So I'm blessed. I mean, a lot of people don't have that, and I'm blessed that I do. And listen, 10 years ago, I didn't know if I was going to still be here for that, you know. I always said to myself, well, you know, she'll remember when and, you know, because when you're going into that heart surgery, you know, your mind again, you know, may not make it out. You know, I never had surgery before. I mean, it's my first surgery. Never been nothing. And it was pretty scary, it was pretty intense. But I put my faith in God, I put my faith in the doctors, and I'll tell you, North Shore Hospital, I was at Vanderbilt for many years, and North Shore Hospital is definitely, and it's so crazy that I ended up here because before I got this job, real quick story, before I got this job, I had a job at Hard Rock Cafe, which I was supposed to start on Monday. I was taking my daughter, I forgot to babysitting or something, and I got a call for this job on Wednesday. And I'm like, I really want, because I knew where it was located, and I live right here in Mount. And I wasn't looking forward. I had worked at 31st and Grant for 6 years. It was an hour and a half there and an hour and a half in traffic home. It's just 3 hours a day. And I was like, not looking forward to that commute again. And this popped up. So again, and I'm a stone's throw from a place to save my life. You know what I mean? So I mean, again, when I say God puts me in certain situations, certain places at certain times, I honestly believe. And I've been here a year, and this place it's a situation where I feel connected to the people that live here. You know, I feel connected to the people that work here. You know, we all have a common goal. We all have things that are going on in our life, and this for me is when, you know, when you go to work, you should never be going, oh, I gotta go to see that person again, grind it out, you know, again, you know, I come to work and I'm like, I get to do this, you know, I get to be a part of this, and I get to see people living their lives, I get to be a part of that, so I feel very fortunate, and just blessed to be here.
This is an excellent recipe, Chef. Thank you. And I will make it. I know watermelon in the fridge, knowing you were going to do this. Can you get, is watermelon readily available in the winter? You just think of it as a summer thing. Where can you find it?
So like Jewel, the cost might be a little bit more, but a lot of that produce that you see in the wintertime coming from Mexico or South America. You know, Florida, I think, does a teeny tiny bit of it, but very little. But California, you know, they're growing watermelons year round, just like strawberries and India. Price might be a little bit elevated, but at the same point, when I look at a pint of Haagen-Dazs Swiss almond vanilla, which I used to eat 2 pints a night, that's $6 a pint, a half pint. So $12, and then I look at a watermelon, which I can get this great big giant watermelon that'll last me the week for less than $10. You know, I mean, I kind of do the math that way. It makes me feel a little bit better about having a watermelon.
I have another salad question.
Sure.
When you can't have any green leafy vegetables, that leaves out like 99.9% of salads. Do you have any other ideas for salads when we don't happen to have a watermelon in the fridge?
Man, you can do, I roast up some corn, I do a broccoli salad, Brussels sprouts, shaved Brussels sprouts, cabbage, I love Napa cabbage. I do a chinois salad with an Asian salad with some shredded Napa cabbage. Wonderful, crispy, crunchy. You can throw some carrots in there, julienne carrots or grate some carrots up. Makes a wonderful salad. You can add raisins to it, give it some sweetness. You can add raisins to it. Make a nice little cider wine vinaigrette or an Asian vinaigrette with some rice wine vinegar. I mean, go nuts. That's my policy is go crazy. Whatever you like. You know, Chef used to tell me, you know, we do certain events or whatever, and we see some chefs come in and they're, you know, one of the things I did last week, I just kind of came up with this thing. I was doing a lunch and then lunch, and I'm like, Watermelon again, I did a chocolate covered watermelon with French cream and some roasted hazelnuts. But you know, it's just again, if it's good for you and you like it, you know, I had people bragging about, oh, I had this $4,000 bottle of wine. Listen, if it's a $2 bottle of wine or a $4,000 bottle of wine, if you like it, it's good, right? Make it good. Same thing with food. If there's a certain restaurant you like to go to and somebody doesn't mean that it's bad. Doesn't mean the food's bad. It's not your preference. So I always say that's life. You know, that's the spice of life. Try new things, be adventurous. You know, take some of the things you like and play with them a little bit. If it works out great, you just invented a great recipe. If it doesn't, that's what you can try again tomorrow. And use a little something different.
Concerned about greens because of blood thinners? I'm in that situation too, because I said, and I've been doing blood thinners since 2017 now. We struck a balance, you know, I go over a month and have it checked. And they adjusted, the months so I have more salad, they adjust the dosage. So I didn't give up green lettuce completely. Because when I had my first stent, I met with 3 different nutritionists and they all said the same thing, just have salad for lunch. And then a few years later, I developed AFib, and the worker people were saying, "Oh, you eat green salad." I was like, "Well, what's left?" So it's just a matter of they've adjusted the dosage.
And ironically, I had AFib, and I have what's called a link monitor, because I was having 40 to 50 episodes a day, which I didn't even realize was happening. And they put this link monitor in. Then I met Dr. Metzel, who's a physiologist at North Shore. And he's like, I want to do an ablation. Now, I had heart surgery in 2016, this is 2019. And I'm like, I don't want to go into the knife again. He goes, I'm going to put you to sleep. They go through they used to go through the femoral artery. They go through the wrist now. And he goes, you'll be out the same day, won't even know what happened. I think it was an hour. And I get a phone call every month, or I get, I don't know if any of you know what North Shore Connect is. I'll get either a phone call from Tina, my nurse, or I'll get an email through my North Shore Connect saying, no episodes this month, no activity, they call it event actually. No events, no activity, normal sinus fit. And you know, that makes me sleep fantastic. So there's always listen to your doctors, you know, try different things, but always be proactive. If you're proactive in your heart health care, your heart will take care of it. It's really, that's it. I mean, our heart is the main thing that I focus on. I can remember I was taking some medications affecting my liver, and I can remember my doctor saying, well, we're not going to worry about the liver right now, we're going to worry about the heart. Then we'll worry about the liver later. And I'm like, how can that? But that's how things kind of happen to us. And yeah, I mean, it's like a portion.
How much meat do you eat?
Great question. You know, I was in barbecue for quite some time living in Nashville. When I first got to Tennessee, I didn't really go for barbecue. I didn't really go for all that. And then I saw what a commitment it was and what an art form that it was by working with a lot of the chefs that were in the barbecue that I myself got. But won second place at the Knoxville Valley Fair too back in 12:30. But do I miss it? Yeah, I do. I love meat. I love steak. I love all that. But you know, I just allow myself to have maybe once or twice a month. And then I turn around and I say, you know what, I make a great chicken spaghetti pasta. I make a wonderful turkey sandwich. I make a wonderful pork is another one of those white meats that very lean, very good for you. So, and fortunately for me, I love pork. But you know, again, I try to stay away from anything that's been cured. You know, bacon is I love bacon, but again, I try to stay away from that again with nitrates. But there are so many different things that you can eat out there that I don't miss. Really, for me, steak has that flavor thing, but I'm looking for texture. I'm looking for that texture equivalent. Again, pork, turkey, you know, chicken. You know, I can reach that, but I can still do it with some flavor and still enjoy myself, still enjoy it.
So what,
Great question.
what was your July 4th event?
Let's see, July 4th here, we did, whole chicken, we did do a full brisket here as well. Personally for me, I did have a couple of burgers, I did have, a little bit, we had some lamb on there as well. But again, a lot of watermelon on my table. I have, my neighbor brought over some fish. I love seafood. If I can find a nice piece of fish or something like that, I mean, who doesn't love a great piece of fish? And again, you reward yourself, you know? It's like a nice serving swordfish, and that's pretty much like a steak. We grill it up nice, I made a nice pineapple salsa for it. Just wonderful, and that kind of gives me that texture equivalent as well. Gives me that nice steak-like quality.
I think you have enhanced the fish here on menu a lot.
I appreciate that. You know, it's one of those things. I grew up in Connecticut, and was very high on the things that we ate during the week. The crab pot, throwing the pond up. Go home at night and get the pots out, and we had fresh crab. You know, my grandfather would dive for lobster and go get scallops. There was a place in Stonington where, just back in the day, you could go in and get yourself a pail of scallops, and you just left the money in the tin can. And you know, those days were over, but you know, that's how I kind of grew up on seafood. Mystic, I don't know if you're familiar with Mystic Pizza, the movie. It's exactly like the movie. They shot it in Mystic, a little bit of bottle tucking around, but if you watch that movie, that's right where I grew up. I can remember complaining about traffic trying to get to school because the drawbridge was up because they had the shooting. You know, I mean, it was definitely an experience, but great place to grow up, and for food, it's just one. New England's got, I consider the best of, everybody says, you know, New York's a great food city, Chicago is a great food city, I love Chicago, San Francisco's another great food city, but New England is, got that place to my heart for sure.
I just wanted to ask, you touched a little bit on genetics.
Sure.
I know genetics could have an important part in all of this. What exactly, or can you kind of summarize, what, you know, genetics did they run through at North Shore?
That's a great question. You know, I'll tell you, what's the first thing they ask you when you see a doctor? Your history, right? My father died at 58 of a heart attack. I'm now 59. His sister died at 52 of a heart attack. His brother died at 55 of a heart attack. And everybody back then, you know, my father had open heart surgery in 1981. They were just started doing it. I can remember they opened up his leg, you know, they took arteries from your legs and did the bypass, he had a quadruple bypass. And, you know, back then it's like, oh, he had a heart attack, she had a heart attack. They didn't really have the research or the tools, you know, to figure out what was going on. It's not till, so when I was at Vanderbilt Hospital and I was going through this, these heart situations or events, I call them, the doctor there said, you know what, you know, when I gave him history, my family history, you know, they said, you know, it might be a good idea to see a geneticist, see if it's a genetic disposition. And when I got back to Connecticut, when I got back to Illinois, and I started seeing these guys, I mentioned that to them, and they said, that's a great idea, let's do that, because I have a daughter. You know, and that was another question they asked, do you have any offspring? And I said, you know, the daughter. So it's watching it, and we watch it now. And she knows all about heart healthy, and like I said, she's my little, as I'm walking down the aisle in Jewel, she'll be the one to say, don't grab for those, and don't grab for those, let's grab for these, you know. And you know, it was hard, you know, when I first started, because you know, when you go through recovery, nothing tastes good. Nothing's appetizing. I don't care what it is. It's just you go through this this time period of, I don't know what to call it, but, you're just eating to eat. You're just eating to stay alive, and I didn't want to live that way. So I needed to find a new way to change my lifestyle and enjoy it. And I think through research and doing my homework and educating myself, I was able to do that. And there are things that I look forward to that this watermelon salad, right? When I made this on 4th of July, it was one of those things that ended up being a big hit. Neighbors loved it, asking for the recipe. That acknowledgement right there was gratification just as much as if I was eating it myself, or if I was having a steak, or if I was having a hot dog.
I was just going to say, I don't want to get too much into it, but I guess I'm coming to say, I've come to realize there are a few tests, blood tests, after the fact,
Sure.
and it wasn't even suggested by the cardiologist or whatever after long period. And so I did some of my research, and I asked for the LP leg, and then this practitioner got my way around, it's a big deal, maybe. So I guess what I was just trying, I guess I can do my own research on it, and I don't know about it. But was it just certain blood tests, other than I know family history?
Oh, no, it was blood test. Yeah, I went in for blood work. You actually see a geneticist. And when you see the geneticist, they take blood, they take saliva, they do a whole genetic workup. It's not just one visit. You actually see a genetic. My daughter's gone through it, and she does have the gene as well. Is why I understand your question now, is why we're monitoring her as well, because she does have that gene as well that it's conducive with two things: the cardiac myopathy and the arteriosclerosis. So I've got a double whammy. Yeah, but great question. But yeah, you get it. Yeah. No, it's a number of tests that you go through before they find out what that is.
That's why I haven't decided. Oh, my doctor's are given sure, but I would say extreme. There's just some things that.
Again, when there's family involved and you have offspring that are involved, that's why they highly recommend having the genetic testing. And really, that was the only reason I did it. I mean, I had cardiac myopathy, I already knew that. I had arteriosclerosis, I already knew that, so I had a heart attack. And really, the only reason I did the genetic workup was for my daughter. Great question.
Edison Hospital offers DNA testing. So, and I would encourage you to do it, especially if you do have children. It's the value of the negative that you're looking for, not that there's anything at, but if anything comes out positive, it's a guideline to change or to live with what we know is there.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and again, it's like, having that information, they always say, what do you need a knock on the head, or what do you need somebody asked me, yeah, heart attack, oh my God, was it a bad heart attack or a good heart attack? Or mild. Well, I'm here today, so I wouldn't say it was mild. If I wasn't here, then I would say it's probably a bad one. But, fortunately for me, I would categorize that as not such a bad heart attack as I'm here to tell you about it today. So, that's kind of how I look at healthcare in general. See a good doctor. They, because when you think of a doctor, they have all this knowledge, they have all this information. Then they have to look at you as a human being and figure out what's going on with that person. How do we figure out what the situation they're in? And it's through the research and it's through the testing that you do. I just had my 6th month. They do get the echocardiogram, I get the stress test, I do the blood work, and I'm telling you, North Shore Connect, I don't know if you have it. When you do the blood work, it's like the next day you get the results. And the results come back and there's 2 areas. And in that middle area is where you should be, it's highlighted. And then you go down that list and you see that you're checking off all those stuff. I'm telling you, it's the greatest feeling in the world. You know, I like, what's this, tomorrow I'm gonna have a result back, I'm so excited, I know what to do with it. But I'll tell you, it's such a sense of relief, a sense of, and I'll tell you, it hasn't been that way all the time. I've had moments where my sugar was high. You know, and let's take a look at that. I've had moments where some of my cardiac enzymes were maybe a little skewed, so let's take a look at that and figure that out. But I mean, knock on wood, God bless, you know, they, for the most part, been, you know, where I need them to be, so, yeah, pretty much.
That was really very good.
Thank you, and you're so great to see you again, I'm so glad.
Any other questions? Anybody at home, if you have a question, just put it in the chat box. I can see that here. Anybody? We'll give them a minute. I'm going to go up front with Chef Tom again so they can see me. First of all, just some housekeeping. So North Shore is now Endeavor Health.
Yes, that's right.
Their new multi-million-dollar rebranding campaign. So we mentioned that every chance we can. And also, every year Mended Hearts gives awards to hospitals for cardiac care, and this year, North Shore now Endeavor won to the Midwest region, which is our region. Primarily because they have just built a giant new cardiac center out at Concord Hospital in Glenview. We're probably going to do a tour of that. They want our full meeting for next year to see what that's about. But it's supposed to be an amazing facility. So our chapter nominated them, and they were picked as the Midwest Cardiac Center of the Year. You're in pretty good hands.
We're in great hands.
And I don't usually compliment doctors. I was a journalist for a living, and I wrote about healthcare. So it very discerning eye when it comes to healthcare, and I do those compliments later. Also, I wanted to say again, we have a lot of Mended Hearts members here. Great to see you guys. And for people who aren't members, who are residents, who want to know more about Mended Hearts, I have a sign-up sheet there. If you give me your email address, you can get our monthly newsletter. I also have a list of our upcoming meetings for the rest of the year. We're off in August. We're going to be making our healthy salads.
Nice.
But in September, we're doing CPR training. If anyone's interested in that, sign up for our list and I'll send you the newsletter with details. Then by the end of the year, we're doing food again, I think in December. We try to alternate our meetings every month between medical issues, psychological issues, because we deal a lot with that part of heart disease. My feeling personally is that our doctors, our cardiologists are taking care of our bodies, but they're really thinking about the psychological impact of it. So we need experts in that as well. So we do psychological meetings, and then we do lifestyle meetings. We bring in exercise specialists, cooks, because you have to live your life. You're still here. Every morning I wake up and I say to my wife, I'm still here. And she's like, okay. You have to live. So we try to address that as well. You know, we have some members who love the medical topics. They usually make me a little busy. But I love things like this because I love food too, and I love hearing how to eat healthier. And I've been trying to do it for 12 years. I'll have to add on to it.
Moderation. And I make
hamburgers, but I buy 95% of the ground beef.
And I'll tell you, the plant-based are equally as good, I think. A lot of sodium.
And listening to Tom today, I was going to say, is a reminder of what Mended Hearts is about. Because a lot of what he was saying, I've been through too. I look at my show for my test results and make sure I'm in alignment. First 2 weeks after my first stent, I didn't want to eat at all.
Yeah.
Happened a week after I was back at work, and it happened we had a summer outing to a Cubs game, and there was nothing I could eat. Couldn't get a hot dog, couldn't get a sausage. I went up to one of the concession guys and said, listen, it's that bird surgery, you just make me a clean chicken breast. He said, well, they're usually marinated, we got them marinated. I said, can you find one that's not? And he dug around somewhere and found it. And so I've been through that. That's what Mended Hearts is about, though, for us to share that so that if you're new to heart disease, you understand, you know, you're not going crazy. My wife likes to say, You may be crazy, but it's not about your heart issues.
True.
So we want people to do that. I guess I see a lot of our members out here, all of them have their own stories they can tell you. Talk to them if you're in that situation. So I'm going to check once more online to make sure we don't have any more questions, and then I'm going to wrap it up. We're done with that.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming out. I'm here, 5 days a week during the week. I don't have any business cards with me. I think Carolyn put some out though. If you get in touch with her or shoot her an email, she'll make sure that I get the questions and answers.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.